What's up, breathing people? Welcome back. Today, we are live.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is just going to be a hang. This is just going to be us chatting with you. I got a laptop over here, so if anything pops up in the chat, we will address it. And if nothing pops up in the chat, we will just keep chatting. We don't need your chat. We can chat on our own.
But we want your chat.
But we want it. All right. So this is our kind of 1 month celebration for being on YouTube. This is a completely new thing for us. We are not YouTubers by trade. I don't know if anybody is a YouTuber by trade.
No, you just,
I doubt that,
you
right?
like work to become one.
You just do it.
Yeah.
So we decided to do it. It's been really fun. We're going to kind of talk about what our favorite videos are so far, what our experience has been like, what are kind of the difficulties maybe. I feel like, especially in our circumstance.
In our scenario.
Yeah. As we have a dog laying on the couch right now. We don't have the typical orange couch because this is a dog fur cover.
Yes.
But yeah, so we're going to talk about that. So let's celebrate 1 month on YouTube. I can do the sound effects if I want.
Yes. I can't hear them.
What's that?
I can't hear them.
I know, we got to get Brittany headphones, but everybody can hear it online. Yeah, so this has been an interesting experience. So I did a podcast before. I don't know what year I started that.
It was a while ago.
Yeah, was it 2021? Does that sound right? Something like that.
Yeah, or was it? Did you do it during 2020 as well?
I don't know. I don't remember when I started that, but I did like that consistently and probably did...
You did a lot.
I don't know.
Like 40 some, right?
No, I did more than that because I had about 40 some on the Just Breathing podcast, and then we had a Just Breathing home edition that me and you did.
That's right.
And then I did some live streams, and I did a lot of things like that.
It was probably up to like in the 60s or something.
It was
or
a lot.
70s.
It was a lot. So I had that kind of under my belt, so I had a little tiny bit of editing experience, but that was for podcasts. It's very different when you're just making these kind of like, I don't know what they call them, like headshot type YouTube videos. So that's been a learning curve to just know how to edit videos well. We're still doing the podcast. We restarted that. That's called Just Breathing. So if you came over here from Just Breathing, welcome. This is our main channel, Laud Lungs. The podcast is kind of a spin-off of that, Just Breathing. Get it? Get it? But yeah, so I had a little bit of experience talking in front of a camera, but this has been a whole new thing because we're in our house. I'm doing it with Brittany.
Yeah.
So it's been interesting in that way.
This is different because we are talking to you.
Right, instead of just talking to each other.
Like in the
podcast.
podcast.
We're not just like looking across to each other and just paying attention to that conversation. We're trying to have a conversation here on camera.
Yeah.
So, yeah, different experience. What has been the hardest thing for you?
I mean, I feel like there's been a lot of hard things for me. I think, I'll just say what the hard things have been. I think one of the hard things is that I am not that techie. So like trying to learn this stuff and with social media and just learning all of that has been difficult. And then I think the second thing is just being like relaxed and like just being myself, like in front of a camera. If anyone has like done something in front of a camera, it's a little weird. So like you have to keep remembering that like someone's behind that and they are a person. And so it's not scary, but the camera is a little intimidating. And so that's been a little hard. Yeah.
One of the things that has really helped me remember who's behind the camera that I'm staring at right now, like in a weird, maybe I'm kind of crazy way, like I see people there. That's the way I just said it was so creepy. Oh my goodness, this is like Sixth Sense. This is like, I see dead people. Did not mean for it to come out like
just-
that. But what I meant, if you'll let me explain,
He is in a white shirt. His jacket's in the closet.
the people that I've interacted with, both when I was doing the podcast before, and then the people that I'm interacting with in the comments now on both channels, the Laud Lungs channel and the Just Breathing podcast channel, that like gives you a sense of the mindset of the people that are consuming your content. And so you kind of are able to like think about a person in your own life that you know that kind of has that same mindset as that person.
Like you're thinking of that interaction, and so then it's easier.
I'm
to
able to
think
attribute
of the
it to this
person.
like crazy long, what do you call it, username.
Right.
That doesn't make any sense. Like I can't put a picture to it. They have no picture. It's a long username.
Right.
I have no idea what this person looks like.
But you know that there's a person behind that.
Yeah, but I can take their mindset and I can attribute it to like another person, and that just gives me that person to look at when I'm looking at this camera lens.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's been helpful for me, and I really enjoy. I know YouTube can be rough in the comments. I love that part of YouTube, actually. I'm a YouTube kind of fan when it comes to the comment section. I love that aspect of YouTube. I know it's rough. I know it's not good for some people who stay in there too long and really just dive down that crazy rabbit hole.
Right.
But I love the people. I know there are real people. And even if they're saying things to just kind of get a rise out of you, it doesn't bother me. Like I'm in other channel live chats. I see the people that are just there to try and just get a rise out of the host or get noticed or whatever. And that doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
Because I know I always try
You're
to
good
like
at that.
Yeah, and that's something I've learned over the years. I think the first time someone disagreed with me in the comments, I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
Yeah.
You know, this is the end.
Right, when you were doing the podcast like a
Because
while
you
back.
think that everyone's supposed to agree with you. Like
Yeah.
you just have this mindset, and the internet in general opens you up to all of those
Yeah.
things where you realize no one agrees with you
Yeah,
sometimes.
yeah.
You might just be out on your own making this point. So, yeah, once I learned that, I was able to give grace to people, and I was able to give grace to myself.
Yeah.
That it's okay that that person disagreed with
Right,
me. It's
right.
okay that that person left this comment where they're just kind of like, hey, what you said was stupid.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that's your opinion.
Yeah. They're allowed
And
to have that opinion.
There was like something, I loved one comment we got on one of our videos, like the background music was too loud. Like it was distracting from the conversation you were having. And I was like, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, because that's helpful to me. And the next video, I removed the background music from the main part of the conversation. I just put it in the intro and the outro, and that's it. And it worked.
Yeah.
So I learn from people in the comments too. So that's why we love people that comment. We love people that chat. So thank you.
Yeah. What do you think is the hardest part?
The hardest part for me is probably this format, like when we're sitting on the couch doing the Laud and Lungs
Yes.
videos. I can't just be, like during those, we want those to be shorter videos, so I can't just kind of expound on all of my thoughts until I kind of get to a point.
Yeah.
Like I have to kind of think about that beforehand, narrow my thoughts down, and get to the point.
Yeah, it's hard. It is. It's hard to be like very concise, clear and concise
Yeah.
when you're trying to make it nice and short.
Yeah, because we don't have a teleprompter. Maybe down the road, some of our videos will use a teleprompter in the future and kind of at least bullet point some of our
Yeah.
points that we want to make in a video. But right now, we're just off the cuff.
Yeah.
And it's tough. It's really tough. There's
Yeah.
times we should like put out a blooper reel at some
Oh
point
my goodness.
of us just like melting
Yeah.
because we can't get it, or like we get done a take and we're like, that sucked.
Yeah.
That was awful.
Or you have what you want to say in your mind, and then you start to speak, and then it's just like poof, and you're like, oh, okay, I don't know what I'm gonna say now.
Yeah, Yeah, so all of those are a factor. So I would say the difficult is just the format.
Yeah.
Like just doing a new format. I love still doing the podcast because it's so much more free.
I like that
and we
too.
can like kind of learn and get to our points. And so that's been our process. If you want to kind of know a little behind the scenes to how we do these videos, what we do is we do a podcast first, and that's on our Just Breathing podcast channel. And then that allows us to kind of take a topic or a question and talk about that at length. And we usually do anywhere from a half hour to a little over an hour on those podcasts. And then we'll, from that, listen back to that and pull out kind of the main points that we made in that podcast.
Right.
And then we'll take that over to our Laud and Lungs channel and just in a short video, just kind of hit those points and just make sure that you're just getting kind of the bare minimum of all the information we discussed on the podcast. So
I like that. I think it's
Yeah.
really helpful.
yeah, it's funny because we wanted to do this channel, the Laud and Lungs channel, and I don't know, it's funny. I never even thought about also doing Just Breathing, the podcast.
Yeah.
It just made sense.
You mean
for
doing
us
the same topic on both?
Yeah, on both.
Yeah.
Like I kind of wanted to restart the podcast at some point. I wasn't really sure what it was going to be.
Yeah.
And then we're like, well, why don't we just discuss in long form the same topic, kind of get our thoughts together,
Right.
and then go make the videos. I'm like, yeah. The thing about that is instead of doing one video a week that we wanted to do
yeah.
on this channel, we're doing 2 videos a week because I have to edit the podcast and I have to edit the Laud and Lungs videos.
Forces you to
So,
do it. It forces us to do it.
Right. So it's been a month. We would have put out 4 videos, and we did on this channel, but we put out 8 videos because we put out 4 on the other channel.
That's true. So that's pretty cool.
Been a lot.
Yeah.
It's been a lot. Yeah.
8
So
videos in 1 month.
Yeah. We definitely got some experience from that. We definitely are getting our act together in terms of scheduling.
Yeah.
That's a hard part too. I would say that's a difficult thing. Like we have kids upstairs right now
Yeah.
on tablets
Yeah.
playing until we get done this stream and put them to bed.
Yeah.
That's tough. They don't usually play tablets at night. Usually we winding down in some other way and then they
Yeah.
go to bed. But tonight's different.
Yes.
Because we can't have kids like falling over the lights that we have set
Yeah.
up and you
Or
know,
fighting-
Mom!
Fighting each other, and we have to leave every couple minutes.
Yeah, yeah. So just scheduling the time. A lot of the videos that we do at night. It's usually dark like this.
Yeah.
We usually don't record in the daytime because we just don't have the time to do that. So kids go to bed. We record our YouTube videos as we are tired and ready for bed.
Yeah.
That's how it has to be right now. And then the Just Breathing, yeah, it's a similar thing. We take them to the studio and usually put a TV on, be like, here's one movie. We're going to try and get the podcast done
Yeah.
in that time.
Yeah.
And that's how you do it. Or we have family that babysit on those nights, and we'll try to record during those nights.
Yeah. That's helpful.
And that is helpful. But yeah, that's how it's been going so far. Doing two channels at the same time. It's been good.
It's good. Yeah. It's a
been
lot,
good.
but it's good. And we're learning. We're getting better each time.
Yeah. We should introduce ourselves.
Yes.
That probably is very important
yeah.
for us to actually do. Because another thing that we really don't want to do is waste your time. So on the podcast, even though it's long form, we don't really, I think I say I'm joined by Brittany.
Yeah.
I don't even introduce myself. And then on the Laud and Lungs channel, no introductions. Maybe we should. I don't really think you care though.
If people, they'll ask if they care.
Right. If you care to hear our names at the beginning of videos, let us know. But right now, we just want to get to the topic, answer the question that you came to get answered, and get out.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to do on the Laud and Lungs channel. But do you want to go first?
Sure. Yeah. So I am Brittany. I am a homeschool mom, and I create content and I write songs and yeah, that's
your life right now.
my life right now.
She has a lot more to her life. She has a lot more to her life.
Yeah.
But you're a homeschool mom.
I'm a homeschool
We could just go back to that.
Yeah, I mean, that in itself kind of, I feel like that just fills up the room. Homeschool mom just means like every day, every moment of my life is filled with
Yeah. Why?
with something. Why? Well, because I want my kids to be like,
How many kids do you have?
I have 3 kids.
Yeah, that's why it's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
If you're I have a homeschool mom of 1. He's in kindergarten.
No.
Big deal. You know?
So my oldest is in 3rd grade.
Yeah.
And then my middle is in 2nd grade, and my youngest is in kindergarten.
Yeah.
So the youngest is Elijah, and then middle is Addie, and Brahm is my oldest. He just turned 9. And yeah, they're great. They're super smart. I always tell them, you are smarter than me at this age than I ever was. And I want them to just be good readers and think for themselves. And I think I'm being successful in that.
Yeah. And they do read. That's the crazy part. That is why everyone should homeschool. We're not going to talk about that too much on this channel
Not
yet.
everyone can homeschool.
Not everyone can
It's a
homeschool,
lot.
but if you can, you should.
Yeah,
You should definitely should.
It's really cool.
Because I went to public school. She went to public school. I don't remember anything from public school.
Thankfully, you were homeschooled up until high school, though.
Right. I had a 2nd through 8th grade homeschool experience. I can tell you things that I read during homeschooling because you actually read the books in homeschooling. And I found out, I didn't know this, but in high school, you don't actually read the books that they assign to you. They have this thing called Cliff Notes, which my mom, who taught me homeschooling, in homeschooling, she never told me about Cliff Notes. I didn't know you could just get an abridged version and know about the book from that.
Yeah, yeah.
So I found out a lot of things that I was not privy to when I got to public school.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's not better. It's not better to have all of these shortcuts and tools and everything like that. Like, I didn't learn anything.
Yeah. That is the nice thing about homeschooling is you can see them learning and you can also tweak things when something isn't working. And that's been nice with just as I've gone through, I change things for the child because I'm like, they're not getting this. Like,
yeah, the flexibility.
Yeah. Brahm would get certain things like that and then others like wouldn't. And so then I would be like, okay, well, let's just do it a little differently. Like, I'm gonna teach this a different way. And if that doesn't work, I'll teach it a different way until it clicks.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that takes up most of the day because a homeschooling mom, just for those of you who don't know and think homeschooling moms just lay at home all day and do nothing, we do a lot. We clean up the kitchen like 8 times a day and we break up fights and we teach often and there's always just stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a job. I mean, which makes total sense. It's funny when people are like, oh, you homeschool? Like,
I think they think because you're at home all the time, and if there's any homeschool moms watching, they're like, yes, say it. Like, there's no time for much of anything.
Right.
Because you're just constantly teaching and doing something in the home to clean up after what just happened.
If you're actually doing a curriculum.
Yes.
I think that's the thing. Like, there's the stigma that people are just, like, sending their kids out into the woods and being like, learn how to survive or something like that. But that's not the case. We actually have a full curriculum with a ton of reading, way more than you'll get in any public school.
Yeah.
And we're able to teach so many different subjects because there's not all of the travel time between classes. There's not the changeover between teachers. There's not the study halls. There's no substitutes. There's like all of the things that take away from you actually getting the education that you want for your kids. That goes away. And anybody that's been to public school knows what I'm talking about because there was so much dead space when I was going to public school. We watch movies and I'm like, how are we watching a movie right now when like there's like this much textbook that still needs to be gotten through.
Yeah, we go through the entire textbook.
Yeah.
Nothing is skipped.
High school, I was like amazed because I had to carry around all of these like, you know, like earth science textbooks. And I'm like, my back is broken now from having to carry all this stuff around. And we get through like a sliver of that book. And I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's
This is ridiculous.
I don't remember anything from school. Except home ec. I remember home ec and pottery.
Because it's practical.
Yeah, it's practical.
It's
I
actually like
use
practical
those skills.
stuff.
Yeah, but everything else pretty much, except for one English class in high school.
Yeah.
That I do remember learning some words in that class.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's my soapbox for homeschooling. That has nothing to do with anything that we've done on YouTube, but maybe we'll promote it in some of our videos later on because I think it's important.
Yeah, maybe we can talk about homeschooling.
There's a lot of stigmas that go along with homeschooling. Some are true. Some are true. The homeschool haircut is true.
I cut our kids' hair.
Yeah, but our kids' hair looks good.
It does look good. I do a good job.
There's a homeschool haircut. There's a homeschool haircut, though, and it does not look good. And that is a real thing, unfortunately.
That's funny.
But, yeah. So what other things on YouTube? What's your favorite video?
Okay, so I have two favorite videos.
No, but that's cheating.
I'm allowed to do that. I'm allowed to do that. I can do what I want to do.
Jeez.
The first one is the one about like what is dating. I like that one just because I feel like it was really helpful to people, or a lot of people looked at it at least. So that makes me happy.
Oh, are we dating?
Are we dating?
Yeah,
yes, yes. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
That people actually like wanted to know that, and it was helpful. Hopefully it was helpful. And then the second one that was my favorite was, I think it was how to find a godly spouse. Mm-hmm. And the reason that one was my favorite is because I didn't know before that podcast that we did that you felt like God tapped you on the shoulder.
Huh.
Maybe you had said it before, but never like so bluntly.
Yeah.
So I like didn't know that, and I was like, this is so cool. I didn't know that.
I mean, I didn't feel a physical touch.
No, I know, I know, but like
that would have been so cool.
That would have been a little scary.
A little scary. Yeah, just dead.
No. But I didn't know that like God was so specific in like pointing me out. Mm. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he had to be, because I wasn't dating at that time.
Yeah.
And that was like a chosen thing. That wasn't like a we'll see what happens. I was like, no, I'm not dating.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. So he had to be like, no, you are.
Yeah. You are now.
That's cool. I didn't know you didn't know that. Mm-mm. See, we learn things.
We learn.
Learn through this process.
Yeah.
I would say my favorite video. I don't know. I think I like the red flags.
That was our second one, right?
Yeah.
Why that one?
I just feel like that, it's funny because it's not our most viewed video.
Yeah. That's probably the least viewed one.
And it could just be the time. It could be people are just not into that topic.
Right.
You know, or maybe in the dating game, red flags isn't like a hot button.
Right.
Kinda.
They're just like, I want to find somebody. They don't care.
Yeah. Yeah. And things just kind of go in and out of the lexicon. Like red flags was like a super popular word for a while. And maybe it's just not now. I don't know. But I really feel like in that video, like those that did watch it got good information.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I really feel like
there was a lot of good stuff in there.
Yeah, I feel like people that go through that, even if it's not red flags in dating, like I really feel like it could help you see red flags in just any relationship. So
yeah,
I really liked that one. I thought it was good. Yeah, that would be my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So the other thing that's going on soon, pretty soon, like tomorrow, is we're going to be married for 11 years.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. That gets a loud, long round of applause.
And we already did the 10 years. That's like the big one.
Yeah,
You know, we did a decade together. But 11's cool because then we make it past the decade.
Yeah.
So that's pretty special too. Can I help you?
I want to know. I want to know what you like. What were your expectations like when you got married? And you're like it's still weird to me to think that we've been married. Well, that we will be married 11 years tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Like, what did you think 11 years would be like at this point?
Oh boy.
And then like,
what did I think 11 years would be like at this point? I think like the most surprising thing to me is that like, you know, when you get married, you have that period of lust, they call it. Yeah. Where like you're just
or infatuation.
Right, infatuation where that's a better word.
Yeah.
Where you're just all about that person. You're just super into that person. You're just like, oh my gosh, I just love them.
Yeah, yeah.
And then that emotion
it goes away.
Fades.
Yeah.
And then it's just all on decision.
Yes.
Where you're just deciding to love that person again. Mm-hmm. And the next day, and the next day, and the next day. And what's neat about the longer the relationship goes is I find that infatuation comes back.
Yeah.
It comes back in a different way. Like it's not
infatuation anymore. I
right.
think
It's
deeper.
not that. Yes. It's not that same just kind of desire.
Yeah.
Feeling. It's like it's a deeper, connected love.
Yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm. And I think that's cool because, like, people think, like, I'm going to get tired of the same person. That's the big thing. Like, I couldn't see myself marrying someone because that means I have to be with them forever.
Right.
Which is such a stupid statement by guys because, like, what girl are you going to get? Like, who the freak is going to marry you?
Yeah.
When, like, you're talking about, like, I don't really like marriage because, like, that means I have to be with that person.
Yeah.
Who the freak would even go out with you?
How insulting is that?
It's so insulting.
Yeah.
Like, just think about that statement. Like, you should be the scum of the earth to women because, like, and no one should even entertain going out with you.
Because they're going to get bored of you in, like, 3 years or whatever.
Well, you just stated your intention that this will go nowhere.
Yeah, yeah.
So, like, move on.
Yeah.
You know, any ladies that encounter a guy that's just like, I don't know what I think about marriage. Move on.
Yeah, for real.
Move on. Now, what I'm saying I've learned over time, like, it's not something I knew would happen at year 7.
Right.
I didn't know that.
Right.
You know, you're just trying to get past year 2.
Yeah.
Because that's a scary, you know,
Yeah.
rocky time for a lot of marriages. And then you're just trying to, you know, get to 5, and then you're trying to get to 10.
Yeah.
And it's just been amazing that I've discovered that deeper connected love
Yeah.
later on. And I think people talk about this, but like their voices, like the voices of those that have gone before us, our elders, don't get promoted on social media.
No.
You know, like every so often you might see a video of the old lady and the old man holding hands and sitting on a park bench. And you're like, they've put up with each other for a long time. Good for them. But like, no, like there could be people that are 50 years into their marriage that are just madly in love with each other.
Yes. And when you do see that, it is really cool.
Yeah.
It is really cool. I don't think, like, it's never promoted, but when you see it in real life, that's pretty amazing. Yeah. And I think it is like a choice that you have to make. Yeah. Daily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
I would say for me, it's very similar. Like the ex, I guess when you go into marriage, I had 2 expectations. The first one being, you do think that it's going to be, I thought it would be rosier, right? All the time.
Yeah, explain.
Which is not true. This is not true. Like, you just, as a girl specifically, when you watch all, like, the Disney movies, even though we know those aren't, like, true, those are fairy tales, but everything's always like this happily ever after, right? Yeah. And
Happily ever after I get married.
yes.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's kind of like, if you get the right guy, that it's just going to be like, it's going to be good, like consistently, like always, like it's just going to be kind of rosy, right? Which you're going to come on tough times, but like no one really is like, sometimes it's really hard.
Yeah.
But the other thing that is good that I knew that marriage was also a choice.
Right.
To choose to love that person.
Right.
And I think that's really important. I don't think we tell young girls that enough, that it is a choice to love that person, sometimes moment by moment or day by day. But the beautiful thing about it is that in our marriage, I think it's cool to see how, like, I love you so much more now than I did when I married you. Because we've made those small decisions to just choose to love each other. And I always say this, but seeing like your faithfulness to me and just us being there for each other in like hard times and rough spots, that means so much.
Yeah.
And it makes you just love that person more. Like, yeah. So I guess it's similar to what you're saying. Those times where you chose to love that person, that deeper love, it comes back. And I think that's probably just the cycle of marriage.
Yeah.
We're only at year 11, but I'm pretty sure like sorry, in another like 15 years, like we'll have gone through more cycles and our love will just grow deeper as you choose to love that person every day.
Right. It kind of goes to some of the podcasts that we just recorded. I was talking about establishing mental patterns and like just the power of being able to establish like in your thoughts, like if you consistently celebrate yourself, this is an easy example, you will do celebratory things in the future.
Yeah.
Like you have to, because that's your mindset now. You're a person of celebration by your own choice, like by your own actions, you establish, and especially if you do it consistently and you make it a habit of caring for yourself and being positive about yourself. This isn't the power of positive thinking necessarily, because the power of positive thinking is completely in your mind.
Yeah.
This is more actionable. Like you have to do things, you have to say things out loud, you have to have tangible habits established that go into your brain and cause your brain to shift from previous mindsets. Because that's the thing. You can think as many positive thoughts as you want, and that will help to a certain degree. But the thing about a habit and making it more actionable is that it actually plays at parts of your brain that are malleable, meaning they can change. They can become something different than what they were. So if you're a negative person, or if you're a person that is just really hard on yourself, you can do things in your life that shift that to being a person that's super grateful, or being a person that's super positive about themselves, that celebrate themselves.
I mean, celebrating is different than being positive in a way, because celebrating is an action.
Right.
So you can notice something that you did well.
Yeah.
And then you celebrate it.
Yeah.
So it's not just like being positive or hoping that being positive will make something happen. You're like,
Right, it's more than hope.
Yeah, it's more than hope. You're like, I might have messed up all this part of the day, but I did that right. I'm going to celebrate that, and that will help you celebrate more, or practice noticing the good and not just all the bad.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's the key too, is like kind of doing one action doesn't necessarily make you want to do it more. You really have to choose to do it more.
Yeah.
Like you have to like put certain things in place in your life that this time I celebrate myself, and this time
And that's how it becomes a habit, I guess.
Yeah, you have to like put in places in your life where in journaling, or in what you read, or in what you say to yourself when you look at yourself in the mirror in the morning. Like there's all of these ways that you can kind of have touch points
Right.
for yourself.
Yeah.
Because the whole day, you know, you have kids that want your attention. You have, you know, maybe coworkers or other people that have their opinions of you.
Right.
And it's not totally for your best.
Right. Right.
You know, because they're thinking about themselves
Yeah.
in a lot of cases, which is totally understandable.
Very normal.
But you're not having a person that just sits there and celebrates you all day.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you have to implement that into your own life to have that. So it is an actionable, habit-based way of shifting your mind from whatever negative, whatever lazy, whatever kind of pattern that you don't like in your life now to whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, it's actionable. Like you have to start taking steps to do it. You cannot think yourself into a better life.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just not possible.
Right. Small changes.
Yeah, small changes. Small changes.
That's cool.
Yep. All right, what other things do we need to talk about?
I feel like that I wanted to touch on that one, the one that you just asked about. What are the top things that you've learned while being, or that surprised you about being married, or that you learned being married?
I mean, the love one was probably my biggest.
Yeah.
Just how that kind of evolved and changes, but remains all at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's probably my top one. The other one is, and I'm just learning that now.
Which one? The one you just said?
No. What I'm gonna say is, I'm learning that I don't control you. And I don't mean that in like a weird way.
Yeah.
Like, you know, go make me a sandwich.
No,
Like,
I know.
I mean that in like, you're your own person.
Yeah.
And like, when I can learn to celebrate that,
Yeah.
I will have a more celebratory wife.
Yes.
I didn't mess that up. It's not celebratory life. I meant
Yes.
wife.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
And so I'm still learning about that, because that's something that translates into all of my relationships, where I just want to be able to like not control my relationship with anyone.
Right.
I want to just be with that person, like be present with that person.
Yes.
And celebrate them for all of their quirks and all of the things that bother me.
Right.
Because that's them.
There's a reason for that.
Yeah, there's a reason for that, and that's who they are, and God made them, and I need to just figure out how I can just exist with them to the best of my ability.
Yeah.
Without like having to dumb down any part of who I am.
Right.
To maintain that relationship, and also, you know, not try to force them to become anything for that relationship.
Right. Yeah, no, that's really cool.
Yeah. What about you?
I would say I think having kids and raising kids was definitely much different than I thought or expected. Like it's funny because having when the kids were small, like that was just all wonderful. Like even though, and if you knew me then, I might not have always said that because I was exhausted. It's very exhausting. You're like so sleep deprived. But it was so wonderful because they're just so little and precious. Like they can't talk back to you. They're not fighting with each other. They're not like just downright disobeying you. They just need you and you take care of them. And it's so sweet and it's so precious and they're so cute. And so that part was like physically difficult, but not emotionally difficult, I guess. But then as they get older, I just didn't realize how difficult it is to raise children.
Yeah.
And I think I was surprised by that, even though I shouldn't be. And so learning just how to grow and become like a less selfish person, and within marriage and with children, like there's just so much that you have to learn. And I think that surprised me. Like, I don't think I ever thought that through.
Yeah.
As a, young adult or kid.
Yeah.
So,
cool.
Yeah. So still learning. I think that kids always are like forcing you to like become a better person, or realize that you need help.
Yeah.
Becoming a better person.
Right. They definitely force you to become a better person. Not like there's definitely, you will grow as a parent and you will have to learn new things and new strategies and all of that type of stuff. But a lot of it is like children will point out how much like your parents you are.
Yeah.
And that you can grow from just by not doing certain things that your parents did.
Yeah, yeah.
So a lot of it is just adjustment of, and from the awareness that they bring to your life.
Yeah. Because you see yourself reflected in them too sometimes, and you're like, oh crap, like they learned that from me.
Yeah.
And that's always like a, kind of moment, or you're like, they're like that because of how I responded or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it's kind of painful, and you want the best for them, so you do want to change because you're like, I want the best for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. I think it's about that time. Time to put some kids to bed. Mm-hmm. Thank you all for showing up for this live stream. If you're watching this on the playback, thanks for coming in for this. We're just hanging. We're just chatting. I hope we'll see you on the next video. We're going to have that coming out next Thursday. So we'll have a new podcast, a new video out next Thursday. I hope to see you in the comments on it. Make sure you like it. If it's a topic that you know that person that could use that video, share it with them. That's really the point of all of these things. We're trying to answer questions that could really maybe meet needs for people that are questioning these things. So let us know what you think. If you want to, message us about what topics you want to hear about in the future. We're doing dating right now because we just see such a need for more/better conversation around that topic.
Yeah.
And we just don't see a lot of people engaging in those conversations in a just a way that is from our perspective.
Yes.
I don't want to say that everybody that's talking about dating is wrong or that they're giving bad advice, because some people are out there giving great advice. Mm-hmm. I think we just have a unique perspective, a bold perspective, and I think we could really help a lot of people through that. So make sure, if you're watching this, like this video, subscribe to our channel, and if you have time, go over to Just Breathing Podcast and subscribe to our podcast. I really like the conversations that we have on there. Sometimes it takes us a while to get into the podcast, kind of get into the flow, but once we're in it, I learn a lot through it, and I know Britt learns a lot through it. So yeah, check that out. We love you all. We're gonna head out now. Good